is good? It's your boy Sam back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're gonna be talking about what if the $250,000 MyTEAM tournament was in the game right now this year. Because in the past, obviously, the comp MyTEAM was up, man. They had current gen tourneys, next gen tournaments, basically a combined $500,000 in tournaments. If the 250K tournament was in a MyTEAM, I feel like it put people in a really tough position. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you qualified for the current tournament or even wanted to qualify for the tournament. Look, you need to go out there with the best squad in the entire game. You need to if you want a legit chance at running it. And if you don't want to go out there with the best team in the game, you're at a disadvantage automatically. Obviously, you don't want to have to gamble. You don't want to have to spend money on the game, but that's what 2K is wanting you to feel like you have to do for the best squad in the game. Now, my squad really solid right now. I like my squad. I really haven't spent too much money on the game. Haven't spent money in the past month and I've been a-okay. But let's say the $250,000 tournament was this upcoming week, or let's say it was over the course of the last month. The problem with it is this, right? I'm going to feel like I need some of the best guys in the game. So like Kobe, D-Rob, obviously 100 overall Shaq would have helped my squad. You go into the iconic set. You look at the Galaxy Opals, guys like Wilt, guys like Penny, MJ, they would help my squad. You go back to last All-Star drop. Obviously, Kareem definitely would help my squad. Giannis, LeBron help people's squad as well as, SGAs of the world. So you feel like you need those guys to compete at the highest level if the $250,000 tournament was in my team. Now, it's not, okay? So we don't have to worry about that. Obviously, I don't have to worry about having the best team in the entire game. But if you had qualified, so obviously how it worked in past months is you could basically qualify in October, December, November, whenever, and still be eligible for the final tournament, which did take place at the end of February, early March. The problem with it would be this. If you had qualified for the tournament worth $250,000, what approach would you guys take? Or $500,000 between current gen, next gen. If they did one this year, maybe it would have been a $500,000 tournament. There's 32 finalists, okay? And so the quick math adds up like this. Let's say, obviously, you don't have an equal chance to win the tournament. But let's say everybody had an equal chance. You're looking at $15,000 each on if it was even payouts, okay? Now, again, for me, I'd probably try to have a really good squad. So I'd probably spend a ton of money on the game trying to get some of the best cards in the game. But the problem is your squad is all gambling. Like, in the past, yes, with like triple threat vaults and stuff like that, you'd either have luck or not have luck. But it wasn't really game breaking. It wasn't really game changing. You could get all the cards you wanted for a set price. This year, it's different. And so let's say there was a tournament that was taking place this upcoming weekend. You'd see some people with Kareem, some people with MJ, some people with SGA, some people with Giannis. But it's all gambling. And then, again, there has to be some limit. Because if you spend, let's say for Troydan's example, you spend $7,000 on the game and you only pull 100 overall, what are you meant to do? Like, there has to be a limit on what you spend, what you put into the game. And so it would have just been an absolute disaster, an absolute mess. And you think the community's irritated now? Can you imagine if there was an actual 250K tournament and which you had to gamble on the players to get the best squad in the game? That would just be an absolute dumpster fire. You're looking at nearly $50,000 probably to have the best squad in the game if you're looking at Troydan's odds right now. And so, it's something I've been thinking about recently. Like, if there was a big MyTEAM tournament this year, I don't know what I would have done. I have no idea. Because I feel like, again, I have a really solid chance to win it all. So you want to invest some money into it. But again, there has to be a limit, because the last thing I want to do is spend tens of thousands of dollars and then not win it, because then you're down that much money. And so again, there has to be some sort of balance to it, obviously, if there was a tournament. But I personally feel like, and this is me, 2K missed out on a huge opportunity to make a ton of money. Now, a lot of people might be like, really, Ty? They're saving $500,000 or $250,000 by not even having the tournament. But on the flip side, do you realize how much more money people would have spent on the qualifiers, or for every single qualifier, people are going to feel like they needed the best team. For every single, or for every person that qualified, 32 people, at least 16 of them are going to spend a lot of money on the game trying to get the best team, the best squad possible. And so that's kind of the other side of things is, I mean, they missed out on a massive opportunity to make money this year. And again, am I kind of glad 250's not a thing? For the community, sure. For me, obviously, I want it. It's a good chance for me to make money. But for the MyTEAM community, I just think it would have been an absolute disaster and something that 2K really could have taken advantage of. And so for me, if I'm 2K looking at this, it's like, why are we not having a tournament? Even if they put a tournament in like April, May, June, July, they're going to make so much money on the game because people are going to feel like they need the best squad to qualify, and they have to, spend crazy amounts of money on the game to get that squad. And it's just a never-ending cycle. It really is. It's a never-ending cycle of trying to keep that best squad in the game. And so that's like, for me, I've came to the conclusion of, you know what? I don't even need any of these new cards. Whatever, if they're behind gambling, I can go out there, grind the free cards, and go from there. But that's the one thing that the flip side of it is, 2K would have made a ton of money on MyTEAM, and they would easily surpass 1 million extra transactions if there was a million in sales, if there was obviously a 250K tournament, probably even more than that. They would have made so much money on it. So I mean, my whole thing is, I'm nervous because if 2K does put in a tournament, let's say next year, and they continue this trend of gamble only content, what are we supposed to do as consumers? I mean, again, there has to be a limit to what people spend. And again, most people will be like, okay, Ty, let's just come together as people who've qualified and not, buy the 100 overalls. But then there's going to be the one guy that has 300 overalls out there. Let's say they're running, obviously Kareem at center. Kareem's going to dog out my Wemby. If they're running Wilt to power forward, he's probably going to be better than Giannis or especially my backup Jokic. And so that's the whole trouble with it is there's going to be people that obviously do that. So it is something I have been thinking about because even for 2K's sake, I'm like, man, if this was the content that we were getting and let's say the finals were about to happen, the community would be in an uproar. Because imagine me, right, on one account, and I pull packs, right, and I've spent $1,000. Let's say the tournament was today. Let's say I spent $1,000 on this drop, and the guys I got were J.R. Smith, Kyrie Irving, and Hedo Turkoglu. Whereas like a guy like Splash opened these packs, and he gets Ron Artest, Hakeem, and Cade Cunningham. I mean, he's instantly got a big advantage over me just off of that recent drop. On the flip side of things, let's say we both open these Iconics packs and spend, again, $1,000. If he pulls Brandon Ingram and DeMarcus Cousins and I pull Wilt and Penny, I've got an instant advantage. And so that's the whole thing with it is it wouldn't only be like people would have to gamble. You'd basically be gambling for who has the best team going into 250. It's not who necessarily spends the most money either, which is the scariest part because sure, you can spend a lot of money on the game and you could have a very good team, but you could still be missing those cards that you might want that would obviously make your team quite a bit better. So again, for me, I think 2K missed out on a big opportunity to make money. I'm kind of glad that the 250K tournament wasn't a thing because imagine if I had been working my entire just the entire game cycle on having the best squad in the game, all for 2K to drop these packs right before the finals, and I'd have had to stay up to date with it. You're talking about me spending probably thousands on the game. And again, if I don't win the whole thing, then it's just a net loss, which again, just hurts me. So I don't know, it is something I have been thinking about just out of the curiosity of what happens if next year there is a tournament, or what happens later on in the summer if there is a tournament. What is the approach I take? Do I go out there with a squad like this and try to compete, knowing I'm going to be faced up against Kareem, against Wilt, against, the 100 overalls of the MyTEAM cycle, which I've been doing in like Players Lounge tournaments, stuff like that. I've just been going out there with this squad and have had a decent amount of success, but it's undeniable. Like, you're at a disadvantage, and unlimited and smaller tourneys, it doesn't matter. But if you're playing for $500,000 and your team is at a disadvantage and it's all behind gambling, that just leaves me just kind of in a bad place. Like, I don't want to lose because my team's not better, right? Like, that just doesn't sit right with me. So that's where I'm at last year, and even in past years. The reason I bought MT mainly was because everybody else had 50 Hall of Fame Yows. You want me to go out there with a 20 Hall of Fame Yow? It's the same thing. You'd have to go out there with your best guys and really not have a choice about it. The bad part about this year would be it would be all behind gambling, which I just personally am so glad it's not. That's gonna wrap up for our video today, guys. It's crazy to say, but I'm actually kind of at peace with the fact that there's no 250K MyTEAM tournament, because if there was, I would be an absolute head case right now. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.